What's up people, this is Cannondany. I'm here today to tell you about some tips and tricks when you're thinking about buying a road bike. First of all, if you've never been riding a road bike, it's really worth it to try one. I have to tell you, when I bought the first one, when I was cycling for many years as a mountain biker in cross-country races, this bike actually opened up a different world of cycling for me, so it's definitely worthy. Give a try. And now some tips that I haven't found on YouTube or other videos, which in my opinion are very important, and I'm gonna tell you what is not important for you when you're buying a bike for, let's start from 500 bucks, ending up with maybe $1,000. All right, so the first thing you wanna consider is the geometry of the frame. When you look at the ranges of models like Cannondale, Trek or whatever, Canyon or Cervelo, these bikes have different not only levels of models but also lines for like beginners, some comfy road bikes and the racy bikes. Let's take this one as an example. This is a aluminum Cat 10 Cannondale, which has a racing geometry, and this means that the position on the bike will be quite aerodynamic, and not all of you guys who maybe just begin to ride or you're not going to use the bike very often, you would like to have more upright position. So there is one place in the frame that you want to particularly know something about, and this is the head tube. That's the tube here, that's the one. This connects to the down tube and this one here. But what you wanna know when you buy a bike is how long this head tube is. In my bicycle, in this Cat 10 frame, it has 155 millimeters of length, which means that this is quite racy. It is actually absolutely racy, position taken from Cannondale Super 6 Evo, which is used in like Grand Tours, Tour de France or whatever. So this is 155, but the Cannondale has also a Cat 8 frame, which will have 175 millimeters, which maybe be that long here, like 20 millimeters longer. The other thing is you also want to consider how long is the steering tube. You don't see it, but this is the tube. It's a part of the fork. These two here and here are the blades of the fork, and then it continues to have a tube here, which is called steering tube. We are steering with the bike actually by moving this tube. And as you can see, even though I have a racy bike, it has much longer steering tube that I need. That's why those spacers are up here, but you can also move the stem up and put those spacers down here. And even though you have racy frame, the position will be quite upright. But of course, when you have the head tube longer, the position can be even more comfortable. I wouldn't say that if you've never been riding a bike, you should start with a comfy position. Maybe you are flexible enough and you will just love riding in such position. I have a racy position on my mountain bike, and this suits me very, very well. So when you buy a bike, just ask in your local store about the head tube and what kind of position the bike will give you. So that was the first thing, the geometry, especially the length of the head tube. Number two is the tires. Yeah, the tires, not all the components, but the tires. You should know what kind of tires in terms of the width your frame set would take. This one is 25 millimeters tires. You can have much wider tires. Maybe you live in the area when you have to go home through like a kilometer or more of gravel roads, or maybe the roads you are using in your area are quite rough. Maybe you would like to consider having like wider tires, and it's good to know whether the frame or the fork will take a wider size. You don't have to have wider tires, but it's good to know that these exist actually. They can be much wider, and not all of the frames would give you this opportunity of using them. And then number 3 is the gearing. I'm not going to be talking so much about components because then you have to know the difference between Shimano 105 and SRAM Apex and Campagnolo Veloce and so on. But what's important for you as the beginner, even for me as a mountain biker, racing mountain biker who's just training on the road bike and loving it, is the gearing ratio. First of all, the chain set. As you can see, I have 2 cogs here, the smaller and the larger one. This is called a double chain set, but you can also have a triple one. So down here you will have the smallest one, and it will allow you to climb like a steep hills if you live in the hilly terrain, or if you want to, you know, keep your cadence high. This is my case, for example. You would like to consider having triple chain set, and it is not a shame to have one. Because really, you know, some bikers would say that this is not pro to have triple chain set. I have to tell you, I had my Cat 8 with the triple chain set. I had a Cannondale Air 1000 aerodynamic frame with a triple chain set. I loved it, and I have to tell you as well that I'm suffering on this chain set on like 15% uphills here in Iceland. So that's the one thing. If you're gonna have double chain set, then it's good to think about how many teeth it would have. And basically we have 3 options. This one is in the middle. This is 52 versus 36 teeth. We can call it like half compact chain set. Then the smallest one will be compact chain set, which will have 34 by 50, and this will allow you, you know, for a better ratio. Not in terms of speed, but in terms of climbing and higher cadence. And then, you know, pro cyclists use 39 by 53. I don't recommend buying a chain set with 39 versus by 53 teeth, because it's really for high speeds, for using the bike in the peloton, because when you ride in the peloton on group rides, you will get much higher speed. If you ride just all alone, it will be completely different. But when you're buying a road bike in a price range of $500 to $100,000, you know, the manufacturer will assume that you are a beginner, so they will give you a triple chain set or the compact one with 34 by 50 teeth. I was happy to have a half compact. I thought this would be enough for me, but here in Iceland, with lots of mountains and lots of wind, I am really suffering on this half compact, and I'm gonna change it into a compact one. Another thing is the cassette here on the back. It's good to remember maybe that when you're buying a budget bike, let's say on a Shimano components, it will most likely have Shimano Claris or Shimano Sora or Shimano Tiagra. Claris is the cheapest one. Tiagra is the most expensive from the budget for the budget bike. What will be the difference? I'm not going to be talking again about everything, but here in the cassette you will have 8 gears for Shimano Claris, 9 gears for Shimano Sora, and 10 gears for Shimano Tiagra. As you can see, I have here 11 gears, because this is one level higher than Shimano Tiagra. This is Shimano 105. And why should we think about having 8, 9 or 10 gears? Just keep in mind that the number of the gears will not affect whether you can go fast or climb on the hills, because this is the teeth that will allow you to go up the hills, the number of teeth, and not number of the gears. For example, you may have 8 gears here on the cassette, and when the smallest cog will have 12 teeth and the largest one will have 29, then it's no matter whether you have 8, 9 or 10 gears with the same number of the teeth, right? So for example, I have 28 in the largest one and 11 in the smallest one. I would like to have 12 28. So the number of gears will not affect your ability to climb steep hills or ride fast down the hill while still pedaling. The number of gears would rather help you keep up the cadence that you would like to have during your rides, which means that there will be less difference between the cogs, right? So you change the gear and you don't feel that much of a difference in terms of ratio. So once again, Shimano Claris 8 gears, Shimano Sora 9 gears, Shimano Toyaga 10 gears. This one is 105, maybe you would like to have 105, 11 gears. And here maybe a double compact crankset with 34, 50 teeth, or triple one. I would really not feel ashamed using a triple one. It has to work well for you. And believe me, you can be really good cyclist using a triple chainset as well. So remember about the geometry of the frame, especially the head tube length, then the kind of tires you can fit it to your frame set, the gearing in your components, and then of course the material that's the frame made of. In those budget bikes, the frame will be most likely aluminum. In the very cheap bikes, the fork will be aluminum as well. When the bike is a little bit more expensive, then the forks blades will be made of carbon with the aluminum steerer tube. This bike, for example, has the aluminum frame and a full carbon fork, which means that both the blades and also the steering tube that is inside the head tube is made of carbon. But I would say aluminum frame with a carbon forks blade and the aluminum steering tube will work just fine. And keep in mind always that almost everything in your bike can be changed. So when you buy a frame that is well made, has maybe a lifetime warranty, takes the tires you would like to fit in, then you can change everything. You can change the chain set, you can change the wheel set, the levers, and then the fork as well. So you'll be able to upgrade your bike as much as you want to and you need to, and you improve in cycling. Maybe two little things at the end. If you are thinking about the clipless pedals, you've never been riding them, you can just use the regular pedals. It can be also that the bike comes with absolutely no pedals, then you would just buy like a simple platform pedals and start with that. Of course, using clipless pedals is awesome, and those who buy them will never, give up using clipless pedals. And the other thing is also the saddle. It's good to check in the local store whether the saddle fits you. Probably you won't be able just to change the saddle and buy the bike with another saddle. But I just want to tell you that the saddle has to be comfortable for you, and if it's not, you will just change it into some other model. When you buy the bike, just give yourself maybe a couple of weeks of trying the saddle. This one is just awesome, Prologo Kappa Evo. It's very comfortable, and it doesn't give me any strange feelings in this area. If you don't feel well on your saddle, don't simply assume that you are, I don't know, perhaps too heavy or cycling is not for you. It would be a really shame if you gave up a wonderful sport just because the saddle was not right. So just remember, the saddle is also changeable, and have in mind that probably you would like to change your saddle if you're gonna be riding more often. If you're buying in the local store, just ask the seller to fit the bike for you, the saddle, the handlebar and everything, so that you'll be feeling comfortable. And after a couple of weeks of riding, you would probably like to have to make some changes. I'm gonna upload some videos about bike fitting, just basics bike fitting that you can do yourself and feel very comfortable on your bike. So good luck in buying. I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you have more questions, just put them below the video and I will definitely answer if I know the answer. See you then. Chain set or a compact one with 34 by 50